All right, yep, we live, we live. What's going on? Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Casket Ready. I am your host, Mr. Life. I'm also here with my co-host, Real Estate Rob. What's going on, brother? How you feeling? How you doing?
Doing good.
Can you hear me? Because
Yeah, I
you
can
were
hear you
you
now. Yeah, doing good. Another
okay.
day, another day.
Hold on. Okay, smooth. Yeah, so we're gonna get right into it. So the name of today's topic is health, the real generational wealth. Health, the real generational wealth. We're not gonna waste any time. Let's get right into it. Before we even get into it, the reason for this topic is because if you guys don't know, this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we want to bring awareness, not necessarily to breast cancer, but we want to, kind of highlight the importance of health. So it's super important. That's why we want to talk about health for today. So we can get right into it. So let's go. Let's talk about it. Why the importance of health? How is that the real generational wealth?
I mean, the truth is health is everything. I mean, at the end of the day, health dictates how you're going to live your life. Health plays a role in, how your life is going to be down the line. I mean, a lot of times when you're not healthy at a young enough age, by the time you get older, you struggle a lot. By the time you're 50, 60, 70 years old, you're on a whole bunch of medications. You ever see someone, someone older with a file cabinet of just medications, you know, and health is going to cost you a lot of money if you're not taking care of your body. It's something that adds up pretty quickly over time, man, where it just costs a lot. It just costs a lot. And just physically, you just can't do certain stuff that you always used to be able to do. You can't run the way you used to run. You can't climb the steps you used to climb up. So if you're not the proper weight or doing the proper things, it catches up to you real quick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, People don't realize how important health is. I mean, just on a day-to-day basis, like if you're healthy, right? And well, if you're unhealthy, I should say, you know, how do you get up and go to work every day, right? How many people are affected if you can't even get up and go to work? What if you are, the breadwinner of the household? You sick, you can't get up, you can't go to work. Who suffers? The kids, your spouse, because now your spouse got to pretty much take time out of their day to actually do extra work because they've taken over the workload that you would have in the household anyway, right? The kids get affected when you're sick. So it's like so many things can happen. And then on top of that, if you have to not go to work, you lose money. And then, you get quote unquote sick days at work, right? So what if you go through all your sick days at work, right? So how do you even sustain if you're unhealthy? And that's from a perspective if working your 9 to 5. What if you're an entrepreneur? What if you an independent contractor? How if you're sick, how do you make money? If you don't go to work and get up and go make the money, you don't get paid. So there's so many different variables to why it's important to keep up with your health because you will literally lose money if you are sick.
Yeah. And to your point, like let's think about it. If you're not healthy, things develop a lot faster that shouldn't have developed, meaning diabetes, high blood pressure. So imagine if you're healthy and it runs in your family or whatever the case is, but you're real healthy. That may not catch up to you about till 50, 60, 70. But if you're unhealthy, that may catch up to you at 25, 30 years old. So now you're 30 years old, and now, the quality of life over time diminishes a little bit faster. You know what I mean? And if you're not taking care of your health, when those things happen, it gets even worse. So meaning that if you're unhealthy and those things develop, and now you have high blood sugar and things of that nature. What ends up happening is now that again you can be in and out of the hospital. You can even down to as far as the death. You know what I mean, and it could shave years off your life. Higher risk for heart attack, all that type of stuff. And at the end of the day, we may come up with those ailments. And the healthier you are, the better. The more you can take care of it. Walking, running, exercising, eating right, things like that. So you can always make it out of any situation. But the healthier you are, the bigger the chance, the longer the chance you just live longer, live a more quality life, and be able to move around, be able to play with your kids, be able to play with your grandkids, be able to do certain physical activities. Without health, you can't do anything. What's the one thing most people always ask for? Is health. When you're not able to move around the way you want to, the one thing is, I wish I could run like I used to. I wish I could stand like I used to. You see a lot of older people, they go out and they can't do the simple stuff. They can't stand too long. They need a walker, they need a cane, that type of stuff. They can't eat too many stuff or else they get tired. It's all kind of stuff that play a role in health.
Yeah, and one thing I realized about it's all about maintenance when it comes to health, right? You you don't just naturally, quote unquote, become healthy. You have to work at it. It's still work that you have to put in order for you to stay healthy. Like you were saying, you got to exercise. You got to eat the right foods. You got to get a plenty enough rest. Like I hate when people say, "Oh, I don't need no rest. I'll sleep when I die." Like that's retarded. That's stupid. Like no, get your rest while you're alive. Get a good adequate amount of sleep. That plays a big role in how healthy you are, right? Because if you don't get enough rest, now you can't function properly. Now you can't function properly. Now you got brain fog. You can't hardly operate. So if your mind is not right, how's your body going to be right? Right. So many different things when it comes to your health. You got to check your numbers too. What I mean by that, like check your vitals. Make sure like you don't have no high cholesterol, no high blood pressure. Make sure that you're checking these things. And I know us as men, we don't like to go to the doctor. Why? We got this thing where we don't want to go to the doctor. We need to go to the doctor at least once a year. Check up on our health. Make sure our health is okay. You get what I'm saying? So like these are just different things that we could do to keep up to par with our health. You know?
Yeah, no, to your point, like and I just wanted to Google it because Google's our friend. So it says, what are some things that health does to you? Bad health can lead to a wide range of physical and mental problems, from chronic diseases and long-term disability to decreased energy and poor mental well-being. A number of factors, including inactivity, poor nutrition, and chronic stress, can contribute to poor health. Weight changes, that happens a lot. Like I said, diabetes, weakened body, poor circulation and organ function, digestive issues, fatigue and sleep problems, mental and emotional effects. It creates mental health conditions. So like health it's a real thing, man. Poor health, as you can see, can cause a lot of things. I mean, just feeling weak, like you said, that's a major thing. So you definitely don't want to, definitely want to take your health serious, should I say, when it comes down to it.
I think the one of the biggest things that you just listed is the biggest one is stress. People stress way too much. First of all, stop stressing about the things that you can't change. You can't change it. Don't worry about it. And I'm not saying to just live this carefree life. You still got to care about things. You still got to take your life seriously. But what I'm saying is that for you to waste time stressing, you're literally killing yourself faster. People literally die from stress. Real quick, I seen this study where there was two guys where one guy what did he do? He basically ate junk food, um, but he was happy though. He was stress free. He had, even though he was eating a lot of junk food, he was quote unquote eating unhealthy. He was stress free and he was happy. There was another guy where he was eating all the right foods, eating the super healthy foods, but he was stressed out. And when they did the studies, they showed that the guy who was eating the junk food but was happy was actually in a better health condition than the guy who was actually eating the healthy food and was stressed out. So no matter how good that you take care of yourself, you work out, you eat good, the most important thing is that you're staying stress free, that you have the love and support of the people around you. That's gonna keep you going further than a person who's just eating good. I want to highlight that because that's super important. The most important thing that you could do for your health is stay stress free and remain at peace. Whatever disrupts your peace and causes you stress, get rid of it because that's going to kill you the fastest.
Yeah, no, and to your point, the one thing I want to highlight too is that you can bounce back from anything. So you can actually make things better
You
and
know?
make certain life changes at the end of the
Can you
day.
hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. You can make certain life changes at
I
the
don't know
end
if
of the
I can
day.
hear me. But anyway, I don't know if you got stuck. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah. I can hear you. But yeah, so no. So at the end of the day, it's definitely one of those things. it's definitely one of those things where no, like I said, it's definitely one of those things where things change. I mean, I remember growing up, even going back to the days of value, and sometimes we have poor habits, but I remember growing up, going to your house. You're the first house that I seen put pounds of sugar, in Frosted Flakes. So if anybody could change, you change your lifestyle now where you're vegan. So the point is, though, at any point in time, you can change your life habits. At the end of the day, it's definitely something where overall, all it takes is a little bit of change, a little bit of effort, and you can switch how you live, eating right, exercising, doing the right things to go in the right direction. Yeah, you frozen?
Now you'll do it. Now you'll do it. What man said, how?
Yeah, it look like you frozen. Okay, you frozen?
Yeah. Nah, there was a delay. I think it's a delay on my. I think it's a delay on my end. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Okay, yeah.